In this video, I'm going to show you how to put images inside each letter of your name. This is an example of what the finished product may look like. First thing that you need to do is go to File, New, and I'm going to title it Name underscore and then put your name on it. And I'm going to change this to inches, and I'm just going to guess for now that my file is going to be around 8 inches wide, 4 inches high. I'm not planning to print this, so I'm going to leave the resolution at 72. If you think that you might print yours in the future, make sure that the resolution is 300. Click OK. On the keyboard, I'm going to click Control-0. That's a keyboard shortcut to make whatever project you're working on fit to the screen. That way you can see better what you're doing. So I'm going to take the text tool and I'm going to go ahead and click on here and type in capital letters the first letter of my name, J, and I'm going to select a font that's nice and thick and wide so that when I put my image in there I can see the image. So I went ahead and highlighted the J. I don't like this font, it's too thin, so I'm going to pop open this menu here and I'm going to go to the very top and click on Agent Orange, which is the first font in my computer. Now with that selected, I'm going to go ahead and highlight it, click on it so it highlights blue. Then on my keyboard I'm going to use the down arrow and I'm going to go through the fonts one at a time until I find one that I like. And because I already did this project, I know that I like Showcard Gothic, so I'm just going to go down and get that right now. Showcard Gothic, right here. And I'm going to change the size of this to 150. So if I click open the size menu, you can see it only goes to 72 points, but you can actually highlight the number right here and use the keyboard to type in whatever value you want. So that's a good size. I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark. Take the move tool and I'm going to move it over to the side. Now, notice I didn't write my whole name. Each letter has to be a separate layer. So if I pop open the layers menu and tear that off so that we can look at it, you can see the J has its own layer. So what I'm going to do with the move tool, I'm going to make sure that this box up here, auto select, is checked and layer is checked and show transform control is checked. So I clicked on the J. On the keyboard I'm going to hold down Alt. Notice what happens to the cursor. Now instead of a single arrow it's a double arrow. Then I'm going to click and drag and I made another J. I'm going to get the text tool and I'm going to type U. That's the second letter of my name. Click the check mark. Get the move tool, hold down Alt, drag off a copy, get the text tool, S. And you get the idea. Keep going, using Alt and the move tool to drag off copies until you have your whole name. So you can see J, U, S all on separate layers, so I need to do this for my whole name. So I actually did that here, and this, you might run into this issue too. Remember that I just guessed that 8 inches would be wide enough for my name, but it turned out that I was wrong. So I'm going to need to add some more canvas onto the side of this document. So I'm going to go to Image, Canvas Size, and let's try 10 inches. So, and I'm going to use the anchor points. I want the text to be added on the other side of the E, so not the text, the extra canvas. So I clicked the anchor point, and where the arrow is pointing, that's where it's going to add the canvas. So I'm going to click OK. Alright, well, now that looks like that was a little bit too much, but we'll go ahead and crop that off later. So for now, I'm going to push Control-0, which makes that fit on the screen. And I'm going to pop open the Layers menu, tear that off for a minute, and I want all of my text to be lined up on the same line. I can tell some of them are higher and some of them are lower. So what I'm going to do is click the J, hold down Shift, and click the E. So the first letter and the last letter. And that selected everything, all the layers, except the background layer. I don't want that selected. So I'm going to click on the Move tool, and you'll get these options right here, which is align and center and whatnot. So I'm actually going to choose the middle option, which is going to align the centers of these texts. So watch what happens to the text when I click that. So it moved them so that they're all lined up according to the center point. Now I think that they're a little bit too close together. So I'm going to start with the J is okay where it's at. I'm going to click on the U and move it over a little bit. They're just a little bit too close for me. Click on the T, move it over, click on the I. I just want them to have a little bit more breathing room. Okay, I think that's pretty good there. So now I do have extra space on the side here, so what I'm going to do is grab the crop tool and go ahead and click and drag a box around this, and I'm just going to eyeball it and say that looks pretty good right there. I think I want a little bit off the top too. That looks pretty good, and click the check mark. So I'm good to start adding my images inside the letters. So I already have my images selected. You are going to need to get yours from a copyright-free website such as Morguefile, or use the search feature on Google and set it to OK for reuse, and get images that you think represent you. So I chose all of these nice floral images. So I'm going to take this first one, the larkspur, and I'm going to separate the tab by dragging it to the side. I'm going to go back to my name. Oopsies, that's my old one. I'm going to delete that. Here's the one I want. So I'm going to take the larkspur, and what letter do I think that would look good in? I actually think it'd look pretty good in the E. So I'm going to click on the E with the Move tool so it's selected. I'm going to take the larkspur and drag it, and I'm going to close the larkspur now because I'm done with it. This is a little bit too large, so I'm going to hold down Shift and use the corner to shrink this so it's a better size to fit inside the E. That looks pretty good right there. I'm going to click the check mark. Now, in the Layers panel, you can see that the larkspur is above the E. That's just the way I need it. So with the larkspur selected, I'm actually going to hold down Alt, and notice when I hold down Alt and I hover the cursor between layer 1 and the E, I get those overlapping circles. So that's going to create a clipping mask. So I'm going to click, and look what happened. The image went inside the E, which is what I wanted. Looks pretty good. So let's get another one, the fern. So I'm going to take the tab, drag it down. Let's see, which one? I actually think the fern would look good in the N. So I'm going to go ahead and select the N, take the fern, drag it over, close this file, I'm done with it, move my Layers panel out of the way, hold down Shift to constrain the image of the ferns so it doesn't get distorted, and I'm just going to make it smaller until it's about the right size. Click the check mark. So make sure that the fern is above the N. Yes, it is. Hold down Alt, hover the cursor between the layers until I get the overlapping circles, then click it. Now the ferns are inside the N. I can click the image and move it around if I want to. I think that looks good right there. So you're going to continue this until you have all of your letters done, and I'm going to show you what to do next in the next video. So that's it for now.